MacIver wins New Jersey's special House election, and the Democratic Newark City Council president defeated Republican small businessman Carmen Bucco. The two are vying for the New Jersey's 10th congressional district seat, opened up following the death of Congressman Donald Payne Jr. that occurred in April. MacIver will serve out the remainder of Payne's term, which ends in January. She and Bucco will then face a rematch on the November ballot for the full term. Well, the Federal Reserve signaling an end to the fight against inflation today, slashing interest rates by 0.5 point. It's the first major cut since the early days of the pandemic. The lower rates mean the interest on things like car loans and mortgages and credit cards should drop. And it could also help bolster the job market and also boost asset prices and also help small businesses.
The Fed feels like the economy is in good shape, but they have seen some weakening in the job market. And really what they're trying to guard against here is further weakening.
The Fed's also signaled it plans to cut rates in November and again in December.
The MTA laying out its new 5-year plan to improve the New York City transit system. The 2025-2029 budget calls for adding a huge number of rail cars, building at least 60 subway stations, as well as commuter rail systems at a cost of just under $69 billion. MTA CEO and Chair General Lieber says his plan is to make sure every subway line is as efficient and modern as the number 7.
A 2 to 3 minute headway during the peak, 4 to 6 minutes in the off-peak, made possible by first-class modern CBTC signaling, and it delivers consistently 90% plus on-time performance.
Lieber says he's talking with Governor Hochul about funding, but coming up with all the money could be a problem because of the pause on congestion pricing.
Well, Governor Hochul has requested a major disaster declaration from President Biden in an effort to secure some federal assistance for communities that have been impacted by severe storms back in August. The declaration would provide federal disaster relief for local governments in Suffolk, Oswego, and Lewis counties, as well as homeowners in Suffolk County. The storm blew through on August the 18th to the 19th, and it caused widespread flash flooding as well as damages. Who could forget that?
No, for sure.
All right, let's take a look outside.
All right, the big headline tonight, there is actually rain in the forecast after this glorious stretch, about a week and a half of perfect weather, Nick, but the rain's not going to be too big of a deal, right?
Not much rain at all. In fact, just a few showers, and the majority may just stay off to our east as we go through the forecast, but you saw in that video shot, there are clouds overhead. We'll keep a fair amount of clouds in the sky.
Well, you know how much we love a good survey, and tonight a new one is revealing what we already suspected about working from home.
It's pulling back the curtain on what people admit to doing while clocking in remotely. Here are just some of the highlights. According to SurveyMonkey, 46% say they did chores around the house while working from home. 20% admitted to napping on the job. 4% had the gall to work 2 jobs at once. I feel like that would be a benefit, right?
Ambitious, yeah.
Good with time management. Fox 5's Richard Jacobus has more on this bad behavior.
Productivity is defined as a measure of how well one performs the task at hand. Since COVID, being productive at work took on a whole new meaning, especially since most people began working remotely.
I take a shower, I eat, I take my daughter to the pharmacy, I run errands, I pick up my dry cleaning. I do everything in between working.
Well, here we are nearing the end of 2024, and for the average worker who still works from home, it appears as though they may not be as productive as their boss thinks.
People could just, be at home watching Netflix instead of, actually doing their job.
Well, according to new SurveyMonkey data, they may be. Nearly half of 3,100 remote workers polled perform household chores while they're on the clock. A third of them admit to leaving the house to run errands, and a fifth say they even catch some Z's. Some even take a shower while they should be working on a PowerPoint presentation or creating content.
I think it's safe to say most of us are still trying to figure out what work looks like.
So is this surprising? Turns out most people, whether they work from home or not, say this is just par for the course.
I think it's working remotely is better than in person because you have more time on your hands, you can be more organized, and it's more like your own pace.
I think it's really a disservice for young people coming up. I think there's so much that they're missing out on.
It's important to point out that some of these habits are generational. There are more millennials who take a nap than Gen Xers, and then there are more Gen Xers who take on another job than the millennials. The bad news about all of this is that if you work remote and your boss sees this story, they may try to bring you into the office. So you better get on that Zoom meeting. Richard Giacobus, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, fair point. All right, we want to know, do people scam the system while working from home? We have an Instapoll live on fox5ny.com right now. Let us know. All right, well, having the talk with your kids.
Yeah, no, not that talk. It's a new one about artificial intelligence. It's a discussion more parents and kids are having, but first.
More blasts in Lebanon, this time devices even exploding during a funeral for victims killed in yesterday's first wave of attacks. We're going to have the latest.
As parents, there are a lot of conversations that we have to have with our kids.
All right, including one involving artificial intelligence. Fox 5's Kendall Green got the download on why moms and dads are having the talk about AI.
Gabriel and Sylvia Pato are proud parents of their sons, Milan and Mark, as they admit the boys have far more power in their palms than they did growing up. Mark, who's 14, shares his use of generative AI gives him an advantage his mom and dad didn't have.
I use it for homework and to research things.
Which makes him like 70% of his peers, research finds. But his parents have laid down some ground rules.
He can do the things with AI, but don't cheat the teacher. That is the only rule.
Kids, they're using it and they're and they want to use it for school, but they're not getting a lot of guidance.
Amanda Linhart's the lead researcher at Common Sense Media, a nonprofit focused on helping families and educators understand children's media and technology. Their newly released survey, polling more than 1,000 teens and their parents, found 70% of teens use generative AI, while only 37% of parents were aware their kids used at least one AI platform. Nearly 25% of parents had no idea. And finally, 40% of parents were unsure their kids were experimenting with AI.
So kids are a little bit at sea and could use a little bit more guidance from the adults in their lives.
CSM's report noted concerns surrounding the reproduction of bias, misinformation, cheating in the classroom, and potential harm to personal privacy regarding teens and AI.
I think the inaccuracy of the content and the bias in the content are two of the, I think, most troubling concerns. Those are the things that young people aren't especially well equipped to understand.
Consistent with the Pato's concerns.
The personal images, I think, could be very dangerous for him.
I really believe that the AI will be the future, but we have to set standards.
Now, there research that suggests AI and its capabilities will just advance over the next couple of years, which is why she doesn't put the burden solely on parents to monitor their kids' use of it.
Schools have a role here. And I think corporations have a role here, platforms have a role here, and government has a role here. Because I think we've seen that platforms really can't do it themselves.
Kendall Green, Fox 5 News.
Stopping rats from taking a bite out of the Big Apple.
All right, we're there as experts descend on the city to strategize on how to stop the rats from running amok. Plus.
Fox 5 celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month, and tonight our Lisa Evers taking a look at how Latino artists are blazing trails in the music industry. So summits being held to discuss big issues are nothing new here in New York City.
That's right, but today was all about rodents, and we're going to spare you all the jokes and puns. They're cheesy anyway. Fox 5 Stephanie Bertini takes us to the first National Urban Rat Summit.
Rats are often met with fear or disgust by locals and tourists alike, but they've been long considered just as much a symbol of New York City as the Statue of Liberty or Central Park.
It's not a nice look.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's especially in the park.
Rats are a menace in many areas of this city.
For decades, the rat population has been a pressing issue. Our news archives from the 1970s detail the local rat problem and its impact on people's lives.
How traumatizing it is, and you could only imagine, lifting up your toilet seat in the morning and seeing a rodent come out.
Mayor Eric Adams and his administration committed to getting the rat population down. The first ever citywide director of rodent mitigation appointed in April 2023.
I am honored to be here serving in this capacity.
Kathy Karate, commonly referred to as the city's rat czar, welcomed professionals from across the nation and beyond to the city today for the inaugural National Urban Rat Summit. Over the next 2 days, the idea is to exchange ideas which will help further New York City's war on rats.
Part of the strategy to reduce the rat population has been changing the way trash is handled in the city. Officials say the transition from bags to bins is working.
The city has widely made containerizing garbage mandatory.
It's a very foreign idea to me that you guys just now got containers in.
Where are you from?
Canada.
I haven't seen as many rats, I will say that.
Fewer rats are important to physical and mental health, says the New York City Health Commissioner.
Pest control is also a core issue of health equity.
And that's why the ideas coming to the table during this rat summit are important to officials and many others who are simply tired of the rats. Stephanie Bertini, Fox 5 News.
Well, we are sick of the rats. We agree on
That's for
that.
sure.
Fox 5 celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month.
And coming up, our Lisa Evers taking a look at the major and influential role Latino artists, including Bad Bunny and Cardi B, are having on the music industry.
And let's take a live look outside. And for the first time in a while, there is a little bit of rain in the forecast. Nick's here to time it all out. Latin music has been setting records, becoming the fastest growing streaming genre in the United States, and it's no wonder as its diversity draws from a fusion of cultures and influences.
On this week's episode of Street Soldiers, Lisa Evers takes a look at how Latin music is reaching new audiences and bridging communities.
They're selling out stadiums, topping the music charts, and drawing millions of followers around the world. Latin artists in a variety of genres are blazing new trails as they bring their Hispanic heritage to the world stage, and we're celebrating all of it. Bad Bunny's 2018 song I Like It with Cardi B and J Balvin was his first Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit. Since 2020, the Puerto Rican artist is now the most listened to Spanish-language performer in the world. Colombian legend Shakira has a multi-generational fan base and more than 1.4 billion streams of her timeless hit, Hips Don't Lie. Mexican artist Peso Pluma is wildly popular with over 100 million U.S. audio streams the first half of 2024. Then there's Colombian superstar Karol G, who sold out MetLife Stadium for 2 nights. Numbers don't lie, says Latin music executive Johnny Marines.
The amount of money that these tours are generating worldwide, they're numbers that we in the Latin music industry have never hit before. And it's a positive sign because it keeps growing from year to year.
It's growing in the diversity of the sounds, too. From Daddy Yankee and so many other artists in reggaeton to timeless bachata love classics by Aventura and to the new dembo sound made popular by El Alfa. DJ Africa is one of the most influential hitmakers in Miami. He's a DJ, on-air personality, and music producer.
Reggaeton is too popular, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these new artists that are coming up from Argentina, Colombia, Chile, you know? They're popular right now, but like always, there's gonna be the classic reggaeton.
There's also Latin trap music, popularized by Ozuna, Nicky Jam, and many more. One of the newest and hottest is Lido Carino, who's Puerto Rican and Dominican, and signed to Renegade Territory. Lido has more than 1 million monthly Spotify listeners, and comes from Washington Heights Latin music royalty. His father is famous merengue star Carlos Grandal of Grupo Tambo. He tells me his dad inspired him. Did you learn anything from him?
Yeah, for sure. He's the first person to take me to my first professional studio. Yeah, so, I used to be, very, like a little kid just going to his concerts. He's selling out everywhere. And it was just, like, super fun for me to just be there and see him with his band.
Whether it's salsa classics from Mark Anthony or La India, or a totally new sound, Latin music executive Johnny Marines is convinced Latin music has not yet reached its peak.
We're going to be #1 on all these lists eventually because the music just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and so does the fan base.
There's so much more to this dynamic music movement. I hope you'll join us for Street Soldiers Friday night at 6:30 right here on Fox 5. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
In a programming note, Fox 5, your home for Thursday Night Football this week. It all begins with the Fox 5 Jets pregame show beginning at 7:30. Then Gang Green will host the rival New England Patriots from MetLife Stadium. Coverage begins at 8 with kickoff around 8:15.
And Mets fans, you can catch tomorrow night's game against the Philadelphia Phillies on our sister station, My 9. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock. But wait, there's more.
All right, you can watch the New York Liberty take on the Atlanta Dream tomorrow night live on Fox Local and then on My 9 after the Mets game.
All right, turning now to the forecast.
All right, some showers on the way, Nick. How's the starting starting today, you can renew your passport online. The State Department says the online program is going live for the first time ever. It's been beta testing the plan for the last 2 months, and around 200,000 people renewed their passport through the test phase. You cannot renew online if your passport's been expired for more than 5 years. The agency estimates that about 50% of passport renewals will be done online going forward. J.D. Power reports July 7th was the busiest travel day for TSA checkpoints this year. This according to their 2024 North America Airport Satisfaction Study. The study reports more than 3 million passengers passed through TSA checkpoints at North American airports, setting July 7th as a record for one-day passenger volume. The report also finds that among mega airports, Newark is the worst, while JFK comes in fourth, bested by Minneapolis, Detroit, and Phoenix Sky Harbor.
The Tupperware party might be over as the kitchen staple files for bankruptcy. This comes after years of declining popularity. Chapter 11 bankruptcy allows companies to solve their financial problems by restructuring. The company's in the process of shutting down its only factory in the U.S. Over 140 people will be laid off in the coming months. The brand has been around since the 1940s. I think my parents still have some
I definitely have that iced tea canister. Yeah, that brought back some memories right there. Pretty wild. We've all had that stuff for sure. All right, and there's more of the 10 o'clock news straight ahead.
But first, here's a look at what you can expect tomorrow on the roads and rounds.
A group of black women, historically known as the hidden figures behind NASA's successful space race, received congressional gold medals. The families of Katherine Johnson, Christine Darden, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson presented with the medals on Capitol Hill. The women, who were engineers and mathematicians, calculated rocket trajectories and Earth orbits, helping put men on the moon for the first time, beating Russia to that historic achievement. Very impressive.
Yeah, well, all right, but before we go, we want to get the results of tonight's Insta poll.
All right, do you think people scam the system while working from home? Here's what you had to say. It's an overwhelming yes. 71% say people scam the system while working from home, while 29% say no.
Those 29 are not telling the truth.
Yeah, right. They're working from home.
Yeah, right. All right, don't go anywhere. Good Night New York with Crystal Young and Ryan Christopher is up next, and you won't want to miss it.
All right, that does it for us tonight. If you've missed any part of the 10 o'clock news, you can always catch an encore on our free streaming app, Fox Local.
Yeah, just search Fox Local on your preferred streaming platform. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.